Good morning, Year 4. It's Mrs. Dunn here with your daily maths lesson. It is the 8th of February and we're going to begin today by playing our daily 10 game, and we're going to be dividing by 10. If you need a little bit of help with this, then you can use your multiplication grid. So let's get started with our game. So we are dividing by 4. So you're going to be using your 4 times table to help you, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds per question. As soon as I press 15 seconds, we're going to have the first countdown. 24 divided by 4. 44 divided by 4. 36 divided by 4. 40 divided by 4. 48 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4. 32 divided by 4. 28 divided by 4. 'And the final question, 12 divided by 4. Okay, so I'm going to reveal all of the answers. You can pause the video and give yourself a tick for each correct answer, and then come back to me for today's lesson. Okay, hopefully you did really well with those dividing by 4 questions. I can multiply by 10 is our learning today. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video to write the short date and today's learning objective. I can multiply by 10. Pause the video now and then come back to me when you've done that. Okay, so some of the words that we're going to look at today. We're going to be multiplying, we're going to be timesing, which is another word for multiply, thinking about the placeholder, the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and possibly some exchanging. So let's start today's learning. So this is the first lesson in a series of multiplication lessons. We're going to be multiplying by 10 today. We're going to be looking at partitioning later in the week, and we're going to build up to looking at column multiplication, and then our final day will be about solving problems using the different methods that we've learnt this week. So we're going to start off with multiplying by 10, and to do that we're going to think about how we look at multiples of 10. So we're going to think about partitioning that number, multiplying it, and then making it 10 times bigger. So there are 2 steps to each of the questions today. So I'm going to just show you what a good one looks like. So this is the method that we're hoping to achieve today. Some of us will be able to do it like this. Some of us might need to use the multiplication grid, and some of us might need to draw some counters. But this is how we're going to do today. So my question is 40 multiplied by 3. Now I can't count in 40s, but what I can do is I can multiply by 4. So 4 times 3 is 12, and I know that it's 4 times 3 because I've taken my 4 tens, so I'm multiplying the tens number by the 1-digit number. Then I'm going to take this answer and I'm going to make it 10 times bigger, because 40 is 10 times bigger than 4. We've multiplied by 10 before, and we know that when we multiply by 10, we move each digit 1 place to the left. So my 110 becomes 100, my 2 ones becomes 2 tens, and then I use my 0 as a placeholder. So the answer is 120. So I've used multiplication facts that I know, and then I've made that answer 10 times bigger. I'm going to show you how you can do that yourself. So the first question we've got is 40 times 5. So I'm going to show you how you could draw some place value counters to help you. So you could draw 4 tens, and you could do that 5 times. So I'm drawing 40 5 times, and each of these counters is worth 10. So what I can do now is count my counters to see how much I've got. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. So I'm just going to make a note that we think the answer is 200. So if you need to draw your counters today, you can draw your counters and then work out the answer by counting how many you've got altogether. Now I'm going to show you how to do it by using our known facts. So if I think about the number of tens, there are 4 tens, and then I'm going to multiply that, like my keys to success say, by the 1-digit number, which is the 5. So I'm going to do 4 times 5. Now if I don't know what 4 times 5 is, then I can use my multiplication grid. So I'm going to go down to the 4, across to 5, and the answer is 20. So I've got my multiplication grid to help me today. Now I'm going to multiply the answer by 10. So my answer is 20. So the answer, 20, is going to be multiplied by 10. And remember, we need to do that because the 4 is smaller than the 40. That 40 is 10 times bigger. So this will get us to the correct answer. So if I'm multiplying by 10, I move each digit 1 place to the left. So my 2 tens becomes 2 hundreds, My 0 ones become 0 tens, and then I use my 0 as a placeholder. So the answer is 200, and we have done that in two different ways and we've got the same answer, so we must be right. Let's have a look at another one. So this time we're multiplying 30 by 6, so I can draw 30 6 times. So this is a way that some of you might do this using pictures today, and that is absolutely fine if you need to do that. So I've drawn 30 6 times, and I can now count how many I've got all together. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180. So I'm pretty sure my answer is 180 today, but we're going to do it the longer way as well to check we've got it correct. So 30 times 6, multiply the tens number by the ones digit. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 6. You might know the answer to that in your head, which is fantastic because we should do, but if you want to double check it, you can use your times table grid. So down to the 3, across to the 6, and the answer is 18. Then I've got to multiply the answer by 10. So I'm now going to do 18, so that's my answer here, remember, by 10. And the reason I'm doing that is because my 30 at the beginning is 10 times bigger. So 18 times 10. I can't do that on my hundreds multiplication grid. If I need to, I could draw it onto my place value grid, make each digit bigger, so it would become 180. So my 110 goes to become 100, my 8 ones becomes 8 tens, and then I use my 0 as a placeholder. Okay, next one. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at working out the answer to 60 multiplied by 4. Remember, you can draw the counters, so you could draw 64 times, or you can use that longer method that I've just shown you. Pause the video now and then come back to me and we'll work through the answer together. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that by now. So we're going to do 60 times 4. So I could draw 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and I could do that 4 times and count them up. But what we're aiming to be able to do today is use this longer method. So multiply the tens number by the 1 digit, so it's a 6, because it's the 6 tens, and we're multiplying that by 4. We should know the answer to this, but we can use our multiplication grid. So I think the answer is 24, but I'm going to check. So down to the 6 and across 4, and the answer to 6 times 4 is 24. Now I've got to multiply this answer here by 10. So my 24 is going to be multiplied by 10. And when I'm multiplying by 10, I move each digit to the left. So my 2 tens becomes 2 hundreds, my 4 tens becomes, my 4 ones becomes 4 tens, and then my 0 is used as a placeholder. So the answer is 240. Well done if you got that correct. Okay, on the board there are some fluency questions for you to have a go at. They are exactly the same sort of questions as I've just shown you. If you need a scaffold today, children, then use that multiplication grid and use your place value grid. Draw the counters to help yourself, even if that's just to check your answers. So pause the video, have a go at these 5 questions and then come back to me. Okay, children, hopefully you got on okay with those. On the board now, there are the answers. So question 1, you should have got 150. Question 2, 240. Question 3 was 140. Question 4 was 300. And question 5 was 270. Give yourself a tick for each correct answer. Okay, so we're going to have a look at some problem solving now. There are 8 sweets in each packet. There are 40 packets. How many sweets are there altogether? So I could draw my 40 8 times, but I'm going to use that long way today. So 40 times 8 equals. So I multiply the tens number by the 1-digit number. So my 4, I'm going to multiply by 8. And remember, I can use my multiplication grid to help me. 4 times 8 equals 32. Then I've got to multiply that answer by 10. So my next stage is 32 times 10. So my 3 tens becomes 3 hundreds, my 2 ones becomes 2 tens, and then my 0 as a placeholder. So there are 320 sweets altogether. What I'd like you to do, children, is have a go at these 2 problem solving questions here. Again, use the multiplication grid and the place value grid if you need to. Pause the video, have a go at the problem solving questions and then come back to me. Okay, so Frank has 60 packets of biscuits and in each packet he has 6 biscuits. How many biscuits does Frank have altogether? So the calculation would have been 60 times 6 and the answer is 360. Question 2. Betty has been for a walk each day for 8 days. She's walked 20 kilometres each day. How far has she walked? So you were doing 20 kilometres per day times 8 days. And the answer is 160 kilometres. Well done if you got those correct. Let's have a look at a reasoning question. So Zelda is asked how many legs her 60 spiders have altogether. She thinks that the total number of legs is 420. Is she correct? Can you work out what she has done wrong and help her to find the correct answer? What I'd like you to do is pause the video, answer the reasoning question for me, and then pop back to me when you're done. Okay, so Zelda is incorrect. What she should have done is 6 times 8 equals 48 and then multiplied that by 10 because a spider has 8 legs. Zelda thought that spiders had 7 legs, which is very silly because what she's done is 60 multiplied by 7. So the correct answer is 480. Well done if you got that correct. Okay, there are some stretch questions on the board for you. If you're going to have a go at those, pause the video, work out the value of the question mark and then come back for the answers. And there are your answers to your stretch questions today. Give yourself a tick for each one that you got correct and then come back to me. Okay, so today we've been multiplying by 10. Tomorrow we're going to continue our multiplication unit and we're going to be using some partitioning to help us. So the only difference tomorrow is that we aren't going to be looking at multiples of 10. We're going to be looking at 2-digit numbers multiplied by a 1-digit number and using partitioning to help us to find the answer. Hope you've enjoyed today's maths lesson year 4 and I will see you tomorrow for some partitioning work. Bye!